Hey, what's going on, guys? Well, I figured I'd do a quick little story time video. Enjoying a nice cigar. I'm doing a review on the cigar, but in between talking about it and flavors and stuff, I figured, just relaxing out here. I got the camera anyway. Might as well tell you my experience yesterday in the ice and the horrible weather. So anyway, this is an Avo 88 limited edition cigar that was sent by Mindsmere. Thank you very much, Mindsmere. Yeah, go check him out if you're into knives. He has plenty of knife videos and stuff, but he also likes cigars. So anyway, yeah, the weather here has been, it's winter. It's January. It's snowy and icy and crappy, and it's very hazardous to drive in this stuff. So last night though was ridiculous, and so I wanted to tell you about it. I figured I'd give you this little story and share it with all you, my misery. So yesterday, Christina gets called into work. It's her day off, but the roads are horrendous. I mean, really, really bad. They're very, very icy. We had a lot of freezing rain, and we probably got like 2 inches of rain collectively. And so everything's soaked, and of course, when the sun goes down, it gets a lot colder, and everything froze up. The roads are just sheets and sheets of ice. In fact, there was a deadly crash not too far from me on Route 84. Poor guy lost his life because they didn't salt the road. The highway was not salted until 10 a.m. and it was really, really bad. It was I think 11 car pileup or something like that. And unfortunately, one guy driving with his wife and his child, they got into a crash. He died. The wife and the kid got hurt. A lot of other injuries and stuff. Really, really mess. Just a huge mess. When the roads are icy like this, you got to stay off of them. Unfortunately, people work. You got to make the money. You can't call out sick. You can't take the day off because there's ice on the road. It's part of your job. You got to get there. It's part of the responsibilities of being an adult and having a job. There's occasions where or occasionally it's so bad that maybe you do call out, but there's lots of times where people drive in very, very poor weather because they have to, not because they want to. It's not fun. It's part of your responsibility. So anyway, Christina ended up getting called into work, and I ended up driving her because the roads were so bad and everything. I wanted to just take her down there and go pick her up. So I took her down there, and this was during the day, so the roads weren't as bad. They were salting a little bit and stuff. But, picking her up at like about 10 o'clock or so at night, it was really rough. I mean, really, really rough. Now, I get a call before I go to pick her up, and she says that her coworker has no way of getting home. Her driveway was complete ice. She had to have a friend take her to work, yada yada. So, being the nice guy I am, I said, yeah, sure. She doesn't live all that far from us, so I'm like, all right, fine, we'll go drop her off. So, now it comes time to go pick her up. It's nighttime, it's dark. The roads are glistening. I can see a lot of the ice on there. But there's also a lot of black ice. There's a lot of patches here and there that pop up out of nowhere. Like you might get a dry spell where you seem like you have grip. I mean, when you're driving, you can feel that you're not necessarily on ice, but then all of a sudden you hit a little spot where it's kind of like your ass end of the car kicks out a little bit, scares the shit out of you. A little bit of a. And then of course, even going slow, going around the turns or stopping and making a turn, you give it just a little bit of gas and you hear it. Again, your ass end of your car is trying to kick one way and you're trying to go the other way. It was scary. I don't like driving and stuff like that, but I got to go get her from work, So I very cautiously drive, and unfortunately, by where I am, everything's just hills, up and down, left and right, everything's a hill. No flat areas anywhere. So you need a little momentum coming up the hills. I can't, I'm driving a 2013 Chrysler 200. It's front wheel drive. It's not, it's not four-wheel drive or anything. It's not an ice vehicle, okay? It's barely scraping by in the winter. Knock on wood, it's been doing pretty good. So anyway, and towards the end of the story, I'll tell you why I was able to get out of this situation, and I highly, highly recommend this for anyone out there with a two-wheel drive car, okay? And I'll get to that at the end of the video, because it saved our asses. It really did. Otherwise, I'd probably still be sitting, on this road. So I go to get her. I actually, on the way to pick her up, at the base of this big-ass hill, there's another road that intersects with it, okay? And then there's a guardrail. Now, I'm going slow. I'm going like 5 miles an hour down this thing because the whole thing is just ice. I get towards the bottom, I drop down, you know, into third gear, drop down to second gear, you know, I'm just kind of coasting and just slowly slowing down. I get to the very bottom, and even in first gear, I stop, but the car doesn't. I hit the brakes, but they don't work. Tires, you know, even with the anti-brake system, okay, they just lock up, slide out into the road. I'm just, holy shit, holy, and then thank God no one's coming on either direction. If someone was coming, they wouldn't be able to stop. It's all ice. I wasn't stopping. Would have been a really bad T-bone situation there. The car slides out on an angle, and literally my door, and I shit you not, okay, I wouldn't shit you, you know that. My door is probably a foot from the guardrail, okay. Any more momentum, if I was going 1 mile more than I would have lightly smashed into the side of this guardrail, you know, messing up the car. And this is at the, just on this road. Now, her job was still a little bit ways down the road. So now, like, you know, I'm white-knuckling the steering wheel, just hoping to God I can get there and get home safe. That's all I'm doing. I'm saying a little prayer. Come on, just, you know, get me home. I don't want to screw the car up. I don't have money to fix a car right now. I don't want to be in this situation, but I have no choice. I have to go get her. So I crawl to her work. I get there. It's fine. Her and her coworker jump in the car, and they ask me, like, oh, how's the roads? And I'm like, not good. Not good at all. So now we're crawling back on the way home, and we had to go to her coworker's house. Now, her coworker's house, although it's not too far, it's lots more hills and turns and all that. So we crawl, everything seems okay. Most of the road towards her house was pretty good. They salted it pretty good. You make a turn here, make a turn there. Now we're at the top of her hill for her street. Now her hill is like, it's pretty steep. Her house is on the side, and we get to her house, you know, again, crawling. They asked me to bring a flashlight because obviously she couldn't turn on her outside light, so I brought the Olight Triton, and I lit up that driveway so she could see it, and then we watched her slide down the driveway. I mean, it was just solid ice. I can see why she couldn't get her car out. You know, driveway's like this, and then there's like a little turn in front of the house, and there's two cars parked there. Apparently, last year or the year before or something, they tried to get out when it was icy, and they just slid right back into, you know, each other's cars. I think she hit her sister's car. So, you know, bad news. So, even though they have four-wheel drive on their vehicles, when it's ice like that and that steep, there's just nothing you can do. It doesn't matter how good of a driver you are. It doesn't matter what kind of car you have. They're just stuck there until that ice melts. So I understand that she couldn't get out of the driveway. It's fine. So we dropped her off, and we're all happy. Like, okay, we made it. It's fine. Now, she tells us, before she leaves, don't continue down this road because it's really, really hilly. And I happen to know this road, so I know it's really bad. So she's like, I would suggest you just turn around and come out the way you came in. I agreed. I said, yeah, that is definitely the less hilly option. Now here is where things got pretty rough. Across the street from her is another driveway. Now, remember, I'm on a hill this way. I'm parked on the hill facing down, and the driveway across the street is straight up a hill. Now it's covered in ice, but I don't know that, okay? So I turn left, I try to go up the driveway just a little bit, and as soon as I put it into, you know, I shift from drive into reverse, as I'm shifting, the tip of the car starts moving. I'm like, oh shit, because there was like this 3-foot ravine, this runoff in front of the house. So like I'm literally 5 feet into this person's driveway, sliding towards this 3-foot drop off. If I hit this ravine, forget it. The car's stuck. I gotta call it. It's a whole friggin' thing. If I don't totally screw up the car, at least we're stuck there. So I'm like, oh god, and I'm sliding, and I quickly throw it in reverse, hit the gas, and I got just enough skid so that the front, it went back maybe like a foot or two, and it just missed the ravine, and now we're kind of halfway into the street. I'm like, I just have to collect my thoughts at this point, like, holy shit, you know, this is not good. I'm trying to turn around this hill. So now, Christina's kind of nervous too. She's like, I hope we can get out of here. And I'm like, yeah, me too. I'd like to get home now. Now, right at this time, right when I almost hit this ravine, I get this friggin' rumble in my stomach. And anyone who follows me on Instagram will know that I posted a picture of my dinner yesterday, which was a little seafood mix. It was calamari and some mussels and scallops, and it was chopped up, cooked in the pan real quick, covered in sriracha, hit it with some ghost flakes, and this thing is ripping me apart from the inside. It tasted good going down, But this seafood and this spice all of a sudden just grabbed my stomach on the inside and said, eh, and just gave me a good old twist, and now all of a sudden my asshole puckered up and I gotta go. Okay, I have to take a massive, massive shit. So I'm nervous about that, and that's probably what set it off maybe. And my ass is like, we gotta go. This is it, I gotta take a shit. So I'm in a really bad situation. Not only do I have to take a huge shit, but I'm kind of stuck on this road. Alright? So now, I say, okay, screw that driveway. Across the street is a somewhat flat driveway. What I didn't see was that about 3 feet from the end of the driveway into the road was just solid ice. Again, we're on a hill, so all the water runoff, you know, obviously collected from all the rain and froze. And it's about 2 inches of thick ice for 3 feet in front of this driveway. I didn't see this, of course. It's nighttime. You know, it's dark, even with my headlights on. Didn't see it. I inch forward. Now, I'm literally blocking the road, okay? I'm sitting across the road here on a hill. Put in reverse. My tires are spinning, okay? I take the traction control off, all right, because the traction control will limit it. Once my tires start spinning, it cuts like power to it. It doesn't allow me to basically spin the tires, okay? So now I'm like, well, that's not helping. I take the traction control off, and you know, I try to give it a little bit more oomph. You know, the tires are just spinning. The front of the car is just rocking back and forth a little bit. Nothing. Okay? Put it in park. Collect my thoughts for a second. Get out of the car. Grab the Triton. You know, light up the entire road there. Hell of a light. I'm glad I did bring that. I brought it specifically to light up this girl's house so she can see, you know, where the ice is and stuff going, you know, to her door. But anyway, light up the road, and I see that it is nothing but ice. My front of my car is sitting on 2 inches of ice. I'm not going anywhere. Okay, my tread and my tires are like, I have like half the life left or whatever, but they're not meant for winter. I'm on a pitch, on ice, solid ice. There's nothing around me, okay? And I'm like, shit. And I still have to take a shit, really bad. So, at this point, I break out the chains. Okay, now that's the surprise. I have snow chains for this car. Now you might ask me, hey, why didn't you throw the chains on in the beginning of your trip? Well, because the roads were still decent. I can't just drive on gravel with the chains. All right, it shakes the hell out of the car. And when there's snow on the ground, the chains are great. They're absolutely perfect. They saved my ass at least 2-3 times already this winter. But on the gravel, if there's very, very thin ice like that, it feels like it's shaking every screw out of the car. So I don't like using the chains unless I have to. At this point, I say, screw this. There's no way I'm going to get out of here. We throw the chains on. Now, I got this set of snow chains for my car. I think I got it from AutoZone. It was like $50, and there was like another $10 for these tensioners, just basically, you know, like a star-shaped bungee cord. And that just holds the chains tight on the end so they don't loosen up on you. They're really easy to get on. You don't have to, you know, you don't need any tools or anything. Basically, you wrap them around your tire, you drive forward so that, you know, the tire rolls onto them a little bit, and then on each side there's connection points. And it's like, you know, a piece with a hole in it, and there's the steel cable that makes up part of the chain, has like a couple square notches on it, whatever. You pull it through, pull it back, it locks on. Very straightforward, very easy to do. We throw on the chains, and I got out of there. You know, I turned around on the ice. I mean, it gave me all the grip that I needed. It was perfect, and thank God I had these chains, okay? Now, what I realized before I got out, I realized that I put the chains on the left tire were fine. The chain on the right tire I put on upside down. Now you think, well, what's the big deal? The ends where this connection is, where you connect them, it's like an L bracket, and you have to put them on a certain way so that the L is facing out as opposed to in towards the tire, because it's a thin piece of metal. You don't want a thin piece of metal up against the rubber tire and then driving over it. Obviously, you'll puncture the tire. So I'm like, shit, I'll just put them on, you know, I'll just flip it around. And I realized at this point that I'm about a foot away from the car that's parked in front of the street, in front of the house that we're sitting at. So I can't change the chain because I have to move the car in order to change the chain. I can't move forward anymore. I don't have any more room. So I'm like, God damn it. You know, because I'm flustered at this point. I have to say, I lost my cool for about 5 minutes during this whole ordeal. And so now I'm thinking, well, shit, I'm going to blow the tire out driving over this piece of metal on this chain. I back it up. I back it up probably 4 feet just to get off the ice. Fingers crossed. I'm watching my I have like an electric tire pressure thing. I'm just, in my mind, I'm watching it, waiting for it to just drop because I'm going to puncture this tire. I'm like, holy shit, this is just a bad situation. My stomach is killing me at this point. It's just, I feel like I'm going to shit my pants. It's horrible. I'm like, oh God. I go back about 4 feet or so. It didn't puncture the tire, thank God. I got out, I readjusted the chains, I took it off, put it on the right way, turned around, got up the hill, got out to take the chains back off, because now for our rest of our ride home, it wasn't too bad. I know that the roads were fine. Again, didn't want to ride on the chains. I'm outside. Do you ever take a shit so bad that like every 2 seconds you got to kind of, you got to clinch up, you know? You walk about a half a foot and then you got to tighten all your muscles. Because it's fighting you. It's trying to come out. You know, your body tries to trick you. Like, we got to get this stuff out. I don't care if you want it out or not. We're going to shoot it out when you're not ready. So I'm not doing good. I'm in the cold. I'm freezing my ass off. I'm changing the chain, and I have to, of course, bend over to change this, okay? And you can't, you know, tighten up your asshole too good when you're squatting down. So I'm squatting. My body thinks I'm shitting. I'm fighting it. It's a bad situation. Christina's like, why don't you just shit in the road? I'm like, shit in the road? What the fuck's wrong with you? I'm not going to shit in the road. It's dark. There's no street lights around here. And for a second, I thought, yeah, I'll shit in the road. And I thought, what am I going to wipe my ass with? So, needless to say, I held it in. I got the chains off. I got back in the car. I had to go to the bathroom so bad. Driving home, I was driving faster than I should have, sliding around and shit, because I just didn't want to shit in my pants in my car. At this point, I just want to get home. I got home. I didn't even shut the car off. I jumped out, slid down my driveway, which is slightly, you know, hillish. I had ice hole in my driveway at that point. So I slid down, unlocked the door, ran to the bathroom, dropped trowel, and let loose. And it was like the scene from Dumb and Dumber when he goes to the girl's house and the toilet doesn't flush. That scene. If you know that movie, which most of you do, picture that scene. Picture my face on that body. That was me. Just, I mean, and relief. Sweet relief. So thank God I got home safe. Thank God I didn't shit my pants. And it is all due to having snow chains. So moral of the story, if you have a front-wheel drive car or a rear-wheel drive car, even if you have four-wheel drive, I cannot stress how important it is to have snow chains in your trunk at all times just for such a moment. It doesn't matter how good your vehicle is. It doesn't matter if you have some jacked up truck with four-wheel drive and, you know, just awesome. Chains are so helpful. If you live in an area like I do, it's a must. Most people around here have four-wheel drive vehicles. They have Jeeps and they have, you know, trucks and stuff like that, SUVs, so they can get around a little easier in the winter. I don't have that. But that $60 investment I made on those chains, this is just yet another example of how it totally saved my ass. Had I not had those chains, I would have been stuck there. I would have had to have called AAA, waited an hour, or who knows how long, because there's a bunch of accidents going on. So AAA, the local towing people and stuff, they're all out pulling people out of ditches and stuff. It's a really bad situation. So I'm just glad I was prepared. That was the best investment I made this year for winter, was those snow chains. So if you have a two-wheel drive car and you live like this, you know, and you're sliding around every winter, get them. Get them. For the money, they're amazing. The ones that I have, I'll do a video review on them because I love them so much. I think they're Cobra or something, I forget. But it's basically like braided steel wire, and it doesn't crisscross or anything, it just goes across. And it has almost like little round steel beads on it, like rollers. If you imagine like a roller table, if you happen to use one of those at work or something, it's just like that. So it kind of grips and bites and stuff where it needs to, but it's not really. It's rolling on the rubber, so it's not going to mess up your tires. They're built obviously for this purpose. But just saved my ass. So. There you go. There's my story time of yesterday's ice-capades. Just a bad, bad situation. So I told Christina to tell her coworker we can't drive her home anymore. Her specific road is just a mess. It is a complete mess. So I know. I honestly, I said we'll drive you home, but I'm dropping off the top of that hill. I ain't going down that hill again, ever again in the winter. So that's all. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the story. Hopefully, you know, you had a little laugh on my behalf. Yesterday was very serious. Today, it's hilarious. Most bad situations get better the day after or a week after or whatever. You can always look back at yourself and laugh at those near-death moments and those scary situations you've been in. While it's happening, you know, worst time in your life. But after the fact, it could be funny. So, anyway, that's all. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you have a great day, and I'll see you soon. Take care.